Hello, this is Nathan, one of the coaches here at MeetRx, again with another success story interview with our friend Florian from Germany. So, hello, Florian. How are you today?
Hi, Nathan. How are you? I'm good. I'm good, actually. Yeah.
And so, can you tell us a little bit about your carnivore success story? What was your health like before the diet? Let's start there.
Right. I used to. I'm German, so I'm German. I'm 47 now. I've enjoyed a rather varied standard German diet for my whole life, basically. Um, Always what was considered a healthy diet, so to speak. So lots of vegetables, rather varied and and on the healthy side. Meat was always present. And if I say on the healthy side, then not too many processed foods, a lot of cooking from scratch. Um, when I was 30, I got an office job that had me, I work in finance, that had me sit at my desk for 12 hours, 10 hours, 14 hours more per day, and I started to put on weight. And so my top weight was 122 kilos, so 250 pounds almost. And I decided, well, I got to do something about that because otherwise I am at risk. First of all, it's not a dignified life, so a lot of people out there will know what life is like when it's hard to put on your shoes, and that's why I thought that's not cool, not at 47. And so I did try and find a way to lose weight. I did all kinds of things. I did low carb, high protein. That didn't work. I did a lot of sports. That didn't work. I dabbled into paleo. I dabbled into all kinds of stuff, even vegan keto one day. Um, but at some stage I discovered the keto diet, the ketogenic diet, and that worked for losing weight. And it was really great. And I thought, okay, now I'm kind of bulletproof, right? For instance, now I won't get cancer anymore. Unfortunately, I already had the cancer. So I have an uncurable cancer in my stomach, in my belly cavity, and it grows into the colon, and so I couldn't really get any proper digestion going down anymore. It wasn't coming down. It was painful and things, and at some stage I asked the doctor here in Germany, so a little bit desperate already. Well, what will I be able to eat? And this person didn't. This doctor said, well, just leave out the plants. And I don't think it was dietary advice. I think it was just more like, yeah, whatever, just leave out the plants. I don't think this man actually was aware that there is a carnivore movement, that there is such a thing, but he just said that, just cut out the plants. I mean, that was in April 2020, and he had just cut me open. That was a surgeon. He had just cut me open and seen the cancer and things, and then I thought, well, this is crazy, and you can't live without eating plants. And I discovered that I was totally mistaken and that you can actually thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am, and that's how I got to the carnivore way of eating.
Wow. So, oh my goodness. Wow. Was it, I don't even know where to go. How are you doing now, though?
Right. So, and why is this called a success story, right?
Yeah.
Nathan, on that day, this man, he didn't only say leave out the plants. He also said, you have statistically 6 to 7 months to live, and so we are 9 months after that now, and I'm doing great. He said, "You're never going to work again." I'm doing okay. I'm not cured. I'm not in remission. The cancer is there, but I've so far, fingers crossed, my immune system is keeping it in check. I just had blood work done. It's the blood work of a perfectly healthy man. So I can't tell you today what am I going to be like in 3 weeks, in 3 months, in 3 years. But I can tell you today that I'm not supposed to be here anymore, and I'm doing very well.
Hmm. That's incredible. Wow. And when you learn more about how bad sugar is for you, you realize cancer actually thrives on sugar. So once you cut that out of your diet, and I'm sure plants, I know with the plant fiber, it's not good for our digestive tracts either. So cutting that out probably definitely benefited you as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it did. It did. And I didn't realize, and then there's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, that can relate to then my experience as it followed. So I went to do chemotherapy. Chemotherapy has horrendous side effects. And one of the key things is that you gotta sustain yourself. You got to make sure that you're strong enough for the next session. And my doctors are very standard oncologists here. They're really good at what they're doing, but they don't want to know about anything else. Also, they didn't give me any nutritional advice. So, Nathan, what you just said, cancer thrives on sugar. Well, they said, and probably also because of the diagnosis, maybe because of this diagnosis, you are uncurable. We can give you a chemotherapy, and we can maybe stop it for a time and prolong your life. But they said, yeah, we don't care what you eat. If you want to eat cake, you eat cake. If you want to eat cream cake, you eat cream cake. If you want to eat ice cream, you eat ice cream. And I did none of these things. I went since then, of course, on a strict zero carb diet, and on a carnivore diet, and I follow a very varied approach. So I'm doing this nose to tail, but I do eat fish. I do eat seafood in general. I eat a lot of types of meat, or what I can get my hands on. Basically, I'm not only staying with the beef, which is this is pork country here. So this is what we traditionally lean to if we say meat, right? So but I eat everything I can get my hands on, basically. Chicken and duck and pork and lamb and goat, and I've got a hunter next door, and so if he shoots a boar or he shoots a Bambi, then I'll get that, and that's perfect.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wow. That sounds great. Yeah. So have you noticed any other health problems improving through your way of eating now for the past It's been a year and a half now, right? Or
It's been since April now, since
April, yeah.
last April, so
Mhm.
9 months.
9 months. Okay.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I'm 47 years old, and I'm at that age where you think when you get up in the morning, um, and your joints hurt. My joints don't hurt anymore. I get up. I get up like I did in 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I used to have allergic asthma, and so I was on cortisone medication for decades. I could drop that. I went through a whole last summer through a whole allergy season without taking any medication and without having any asthma, and that's great. And I didn't really pay attention to that because my focus was somewhere else, right? My focus was survive chemotherapy, survive cancer, stay here.
Mm-hmm.
But now I realize, wow, the things have happened, and I think the one of the biggest things is that I don't know about you, Nathan, but I used to be I've got a high stress job, so I used to worry. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking, this the job that. I don't do that anymore. I don't worry anymore. I'm in the biggest crisis of my life, but I don't worry anymore. I wake up in the night, fall back asleep, sleep like a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that initially with keto I could feel a difference, but even much more so on the carnivore way of eating, I am mentally so much stronger.
Yeah, I've noticed the mental aspect of carnivore has improved much more on carnivore than keto with myself as well. Like we were talking before the interview about that in the anxiety, especially because I suffered from terrible depression and anxiety, and of seeing the difference on and off carnivore is oh my goodness, you can't really describe it to anyone that's never experienced it. It just isn't there anymore,
Yes.
So, yeah, it's incredible. So okay, so what would you mentioned your diet, and you have access to a hunter, which is I'm very jealous of that.
Yeah. Oh,
But yeah, do you eat dairy? Is that part of your diet too?
yeah, I do. Yeah, I celebrate the cult of the holy butter, for instance. So that's where it starts. I've recently cut down dairy a lot. So I do still eat a lot of butter. I will remain with the butter. That's for sure. I used to eat a lot of yogurt, a lot of cheese. I live very close to France, so I would go to France and stock up on cheese. But yeah, I think maybe since 3 or 4 weeks, this has kind of petered out because I do find it's a bit more difficult to digest, and I'm not sure if that's your experience as well. I've heard that before, but one thing I've kind of experienced as well is my body seems to become more acutely aware of what it likes and what it doesn't like. And whereas I had an easy time with cheese in the very beginning, now it seems to be not going down so well anymore. So yeah, I can't really, and I don't seem to want it as much anymore either as I did before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not dogmatic here, or I haven't been trying to do this or that, but it's kind of phasing out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, before carnivore, I could drink. In Canada, we have our milk in bags. It sounds weird to
Yes.
everybody else, but yeah, or a carton. I could drink one of those a day. But now I will use butter and cheese, but I don't really. It's not a huge part of my diet anymore because you just don't. I don't crave it as much. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nice as if I think of it as like sprinkling salt on something. You add a little bit to your meal, but it's not a huge amount of dairy.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good. So what do your doctors say about your condition now that do they know about that you're doing the carnivore diet and then you're still alive?
Yeah. I mean, what they do is, well, first of all, they say, are you still doing your no carb diet? Yes. You have to have carbs. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
And then I beg to disagree, and I seem to be doing okay. I seem to be doing very well. They're looking at me a bit like a strange animal. So that I'm doing two things. So on the diet front, I'm doing a carnivore diet, but I'm also right now I'm not in a chemo cycle, so I'm fasting 1 day a week. I'm going away from saying I'm doing intermittent fasting, which I probably do because I only eat twice a day in the morning and kind of lunchtime. So yeah, there is, but I don't want to call it intermittent fasting anymore, or it's just that's kind of become a bit irrelevant. But I do these fasting days, and I used to fast during the chemotherapy. There are studies that are saying, yeah, chemotherapy works better when you're fasting. Side effects are also less, and they were really, really shocked that I was doing that. And that started 9 months ago, and I checked in with them yesterday. There's still not one single other patient in that whole hospital that's come up with this fasting thing, which is weird. And they're certainly not telling anybody about it. But at the same time, they have me, and they look at me, and they say, "Oh, he looks surprisingly well. He seems to be doing surprisingly well." But what I'm a bit disappointed with is that they don't really ask themselves why that is.
Yeah, that's very, very disappointing. It's almost like they willful ignorance. They don't want to contradict what they've already accepted through medical school, and I hear that a lot, unfortunately. So, yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough. I have a GP on the side, so these are the specialists in cancer, and they should know these kind of things, right? I mean, they should know about the Warburg effect, and these cancer doesn't like sugar. They could have at least told me that, right? But then I have a GP, so the generalist, and she's much better. She's much more open. She's actually embracing all my attempts at improving my overall situation, and kind of adding on to my therapy. So there I have a supporter in the medical confession.
That's good. Yeah, it's funny. I had no idea what your health conditions were before this interview. And I told you I have another friend in Germany. He's a young fellow, and his father just got diagnosed with stomach cancer. So I'm going to try and connect you two. And when
Yeah,
this
do that.
interview goes live, I'm going to send it to him. So hopefully this can help a lot of people.
Do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is very inspiring. And oh wow, I'm so glad you're doing better. And hopefully I know your example is going to help a lot of people. So
I really hope so, because I can see. So I don't know if I'm going to be terminally actually a success story. In the meantime, the success is I'm doing well as I am, and I'm still here, and I'm doing very well, and I can attribute that 100% to the diet. Even if I stumbled into this, not on purpose, right? But it was kind of, and I thought it was not going to be a good thing, but then discovered how extremely beneficial that is.
yeah.
So yes, I really hope that there are many people out there that will that will hear this and kind of contribute to our general understanding by trying this out.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Florian. And we wish you the best, obviously. And hopefully we can keep tabs on each other. I want to see how you're doing in the future. So
That would be great.
yeah, thank you very much. And let's end it there. But we'll see how many people this interview helps on Meet Our X podcast. So thank you very
Perfect.
much once again. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day, and we'll talk to you later.